Hey, welcome everybody to the Nichols Mindset Podcast. Today we have Mr. Reckley online, the owner and co-founder of Bravely. So yeah, we just wanted to get into and figure out, learn more about the app, how it came about, things like that. So yeah, how's it going over there today, Reckley?
Yeah, thanks, Robert. It's good to be joining you. Yeah, Bravey's been going good. It's been a process that we've been working on for a while. Company, probably been about 2 years in the making so far, but it's really ramping up, and we're getting really excited about it lately. It's really good.
Okay, that's great. So this is something that's been in the works before the pandemic, or it's
Yeah. It was something that my wife and I, Melissa, started working on. So we're the co-founders. Started working on it in 2019, and it's been a quite a process of product development, just in terms of the concept that we're working on. But yeah, been going really well.
okay. All right. Well, yeah. So, well, I'd like to, figure out for some of the viewers and whatnot and the listeners, like how did it come about? Like, it was just, you had like some personal experiences, or just something that you just wanted to, like, you felt like there's a need for this, something in the community to help people or whatnot.
Yeah, a lot of it came from our feeling of there being a need for it. I know for myself, I certainly have been really enjoying working on something that has a positive impact. And that's a bit more related to working day to day. But from the outset, I was attracted to it because it was something that had the ability to help people. Mel did a lot of the sort of product crunching. She's the product genius. She spent 8 years building a fully remote UX UI design agency, sort of before remote was kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And despite all the years of working on different websites and apps and all kinds of products, there was never really ever a mental health one. So it was like, why doesn't this exist? And yeah, we kind of came to a point where it was like, hey, well, what's next? I was kind of finishing up a bit of travel and some sort of casual work and thinking about what I wanted to do next. And she was finishing up working at an agency. Her agency kind of had enough, and she was passing it on to someone else to take over. And I was like, okay, well, we're both sort of in this empty space. Let's try mental health. Let's see what we can do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because because one of the reasons I reached out to you, because I've been doing a lot of research myself, learning more about mental health, because I didn't really know too much about it, but maybe I also probably went through mental health at some point in my life. And maybe now with the pandemic and, working from home, the socialization, like not there no more. You can't really socialize, and then, things like that. And, with the stress and the workload. So when I came across it, I was like, wow, that's, quite interesting, because I've been doing a lot of reading and talking to a couple of family members and stuff like that. And I see there's like a big stigma about, mental health. Like, you have mental health, it's just, you don't want to really go to the hospital or to find out what's the issue, because, it has that stigma. So, having something, in your pocket where you can actually get some help or whatnot, I found that quite interesting. And so that's one of the reasons I reached out, because, it's quite interesting. There's apps out there, but now I was reading through your website. I see, there's science based behind it. It's just not an app that, people put out there.
Yeah. And that's, you touched on quite a few important parts of it there. The pandemic certainly did a lot for mental health, and I think it raised it to a lot of people's awareness. And yeah, there isn't really something that you can say, you're struggling with your mental health, try this. This is the thing you do. Like if you're a photographer who takes lots of great photos, the question straight away is, what's your Instagram? Or, you're working in business, it's like, I'll add you on LinkedIn. But it's like, if you're going running, maybe it's Strava, whatever. But when it comes to mental health, people are saying, at the time when we started, it was like, you're doing a mental health thing. Okay, so kind of like Headspace or Calm. And while both of those may help someone with their mental health. It doesn't actually deal with mental health as a topic, or helping someone improve and develop and grow. And that's kind of really where we have focused our attention, is on that aspect of growing as a person. You know, Headspace and Calm may help you with de-stressing and moving past a difficult day, or focusing on just what's happening in the present. But the actual development of, I guess, your mindset and the things that you're spending your time thinking about, we've been focusing on educating and centering all our attention around how people can actually grow as a person. Mm-hmm. So not just dealing with the issue, but actually like giving anxiety a name, and giving an issue a particular name. Mm-hmm. All right, that's my alarm.
Okay, I get you. All right. No worries, no worries. So, where was he at? So, so what you were saying is that you wanted to use the app. I mean, so the app Bravely is more to, I guess, not to fix the symptoms, but actually give it like a more holistic view, like more of a well-rounded person, to actually help them in all different aspects of mental health. If it's, stress or wellness or things like that, like more of a way of life.
Yeah. There are so many aspects of mental health. Like, when you think about, I mean, there's often a comparison of like, mental health should be the same as physical health. When you say to someone, I broke my leg, they're like, oh, that's horrible. How are you doing with it? It's like, oh, okay, that's physical health. Cool. Oh, I'm really struggling with anxiety. People are like, oh, okay. Oh, hey, have you seen that new series on Netflix? Like, people don't know how to tackle it. There's this real lack of education, and often it comes down to having dealt with an issue for an extended period of time before you actually start learning about it and focusing on how to describe it and how to treat it and how to manage it. And so what we've been doing with Bravely is providing a framework around these different topics that people can go, okay, I want to learn. I think I'm dealing with anxiety. I'm going to go here and I'm going to work through a bunch of content that is really engaging, interactive exercises, there's personal perspectives, and essentially leveling up that self-education and dealing with these topics on your own, or at least building your understanding so you can actually go and talk to a therapist and feel a lot more confident, I guess, in describing for yourself what you're facing. because that's one of the major issues that society has with mental health, is this lack of shared consciousness or awareness about what these different issues are. It's not anywhere near as well understood as dealing with a broken leg, for example, as my example.
Yeah, because I was reading one, I forget the name of the author, but I was reading a book. Like they say, when you go to a clinic, like say, like you mentioned, you break your leg, they'll, check it out. They will give you some, some medicine or whatnot. But if you come in with, mental health, I mean, they really don't look at your brain. They give you like a scan. It would just, provide some, prescriptions or whatnot. But the problem is, maybe you might have, some, like I have a brother which was in Iraq war. So I just did a podcast on him recently, and he came home with like PTSD, and all he was telling me what happened is they were, when it's time to out process and go out, they would just pretty much go through a cookie cutter book and say, don't do this, you look out for this. But at the end of the day, like I was telling him, is like, it was in a war zone like 24 hours ago, and next thing you know, you're in civilian land. So
you're in Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. And so being able to translate that so fast, and that's why you had a lot of domestic violence, you had a lot of PTSD, you had a lot of cases of that. So being able to adjust, it's quite hard. So having something where you can actually get help from, and, like you mentioned just now, is definitely something that isn't much needed.
Yeah. I mean, the veterans returning from services is it's a massive issue that I know America is facing at the moment and in coming sort of years, as I guess people return and they are facing all that PTSD, and it's hugely extensive because it is something that you don't see, and it's underneath the surface. You see the guys who show up to I don't know, maybe the parades or those kind of recognition events, and they've lost their leg or they're in a wheelchair or that kind of thing, and that's very tangible. People can go, wow, that must be horrible. But the guys who are still standing up, they're still benching 200 pounds, they look fit and healthy as hell, and people are like, oh, you're awesome, you went to Iraq and you came back. And actually they are like, they're crying on the floor or in the bathroom every second night because it's just, they can't let it go. And veterans are a whole nother thing. Like for people just facing day-to-day mental health issues, there's a lot more kind of improved understanding in the society. It's certainly not there, but people have a lot more, in some circles, awareness to it. But I think for a lot of those veterans returning home, they're cut off from their platoons, and it's not quite platoon, but their units. This tight support group they had, and all of a sudden they're isolated. And that feeling of isolation, and not having someone you can relate to easily, must be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and also it's just pretty much translating to like what's going on now is like a lot of isolation. The elderly. I watch a lot of Channel News Asia, and you see documentaries about the elderly not being able to have that focus group where they can go and play games with other elderly in their communities and things like that, where they're at home now. And I can't really speak for them, but I can kind of feel it, like, the loneliness and things like that. So when it comes to your app, what is it more like focus on what type of mental health? Like you mentioned, it's quite broad. So what did y'all have like a niche that you're trying to focus on, or?
At the moment, we are focusing on like recognizing and educating, helping people recognize their own troubles that they're facing. So there's an education. It's about learning essentially and growing as a person. That stuff I was talking about earlier. Okay. And then there's another side which is the track. And while there's a lot of mental health content out there. We've made a real effort to make it all really engaging and very relevant and very uniform in terms of being something that you can always go to and know that you're going to get the good stuff, and it's going to be succinct. You're not going to have to scroll through 10 pages to get it. So that's kind of the educating side of it. And the tracking side is very much about the day-to-day living with our mental health. We all have mental health, and some of us have really great habits in place for dealing with it. You mentioned the pandemic and this isolation, and not only isolation, but restrictions on exercising and being outdoors and that kind of stuff has a big impact on some people's mental health more than others. For some people who are introverts and spend a lot of their time inside, they were like, I don't care about social distancing, it just means I don't have to excuse myself from social events. And for those for people who are happy to stay inside, that's great because you're getting the thing that you like. Whereas with people who exercise or need social contact, you're not getting those things. So we kind of bring together these different factors of life that we are all experiencing. Some of us need some more than others. Others need all of them. Some don't really need so much, but they all impact our mental health. And it's things like sleep, activity, the stress that we're facing, our level of self-care, so that the things that we're doing to take care of ourselves, whether it's maybe just taking some time out from work or going out for a walk, or self-care is often related to having a bath or something, but that's not the only thing it is.
Yeah.
And the last one is like social interaction. And so there's just a few little mindful check-ins questions that help you self-assess in the moment. The whole app is built around this really nice design. So it's centered on being usable day to day and enjoyable with the intent to be something that people go, oh, actually, this is something that makes a big difference to my life and brings value.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because when I think I mentioned in the email when I sent you the invite, because our company had just brought on a mental health company because actually I didn't know because we have like a anonymous feedback, and so there's people possibly dealing with like mental health, things like that, or just wanted to find out what information is out there. And so this app is something I also want to share with the company, because it's anything positive you always want to share, like in life, you just want to share it. And so so I was quite motivated about this. And what is the motivation behind what gets you motivated about Bravely every day when you wake up? It's like gets you going.
I guess the biggest overarching thing is working on something that is like makes a difference. I really enjoy working on a project with a social impact, and there's a lot of feedback we get from either people who are doing user testing with us or people who are involved in our community. We have a Discord community set up because that social aspect is really important. And a lot of the sort of feedback that people are sharing is like, I love this, I need this. This is something that that I believe in. I like what you're working on, and it's everyone likes hearing that the thing that they're working on is good, regardless of what it is. But I think the thing that gets me out of bed the most is that working on something that can make a difference for more people and be positive. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So what would be like a typical like workflow or use case? So it's like every morning it's recommended to use the app, like look into it. So can you say you have like tasks? So it's like you wake up or you're going, like for people that are listening to it and haven't downloaded, what would be like the user, like how they will go about using it on a daily basis?
Yeah, there's kind of, I guess, 3 little periods of time when you could use it. The first one is when you want to learn something. So we have this a lot of content for learning about these different aspects of mental health, then that may come at once a week, or it may come every day of the week. You may be the kind of person that's always trying to learn and read stuff. Mm-hmm. The other one is once a day, and that's the factors, the sleep, the activity, and basically you jump on at the time of the day that suits you, whether it's first thing in the morning, you want to sort of review of what these factors are that impact your mental health and how you're ranking on them, and pop through the questionnaire and get the result. What that actually also does when you're answering these questions is it gives you suggestions of ways that you can improve. So if you've said that you're not happy with your sleep quality, or you're facing high stress, then you're going to get some suggestions of, all right, try these little things that you can do to get better sleep. Or if you're facing high stress, it's like, all right, if it's work stress, it's totally understandable. You can take these steps to separate your work stress from your day-to-day life and give yourself a bit of space. So that's the daily component. And then the last one is the mood tracker. And there's a lot of apps out there that do mood tracking. In many cases, it's kind of just 5 emojis on a scale. We've gone a bit deeper. So one of our key motivators with Bravely is to bring all of this academic and scientific research that is done. We spend hours reading over it and condensing it down into little snippets. And the mood tracker is based on this paper that basically breaks up how you feel into these different shades. Like if you've ever seen those big mood wheels, and all around the mood, there's, all around the wheel in the center, there's like 8 different kinds of mood you can have. And then under that again, there is, another 5. We haven't gone quite that big. I think we've got 12 total that you can choose from, but it's basically the scale. And our mood is never just bad or good. It's always like, because you could be bad on the one emoji, the low level scale, and actually be whether you're sad or jealous or angry, or distressed or anxious or something. And at the high end, you could be happy, relaxed, anything. So we've rather than go on just a linear scale, we've put it on a wheel, and that's a check-in that you can do every day, multiple times if you want, because our moods change throughout the day.
Okay, well, that's good information, because I also downloaded the app the day I found out. So I've been going through it also. Because I think I saw it on your website also how I didn't even know, like, sleep also plays a big role, because I'm a guy that likes to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and, do my exercise and running and trying to survive on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And I noticed that sometimes productivity goes down, and because they say, like, if you get less sleep, say 3 to 4 hours of sleep, it's just as your body's actually been like drunk, like alcoholic, because your mind is not as focused as it should be if you're getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep. So, and I started to notice that also, and then on top of that with the the increased workload at work, so less sleep, workload, and then deadlines, it can all come crumbling down on you. So yeah, definitely you have to have a balance.
Yeah, and yeah, they are all so interrelated. Mm-hmm. Like you might not get enough sleep, which means, man, I can't run this morning, and then you go a couple of days without a run or working out, and then you suddenly like, oh, actually, I feel like crap mentally because you just haven't had that release. Like if that's your thing, if that's your self-care, getting out for a run, doing a workout, and sleep can affect every aspect of our life, physically, mentally, performance-based. It's all really important.
Yeah. So before Bravely, what was your way of like relaxing, or like when you're dealing with some sort of like mental health? What was your go-to like before Bravely?
For me, it's always been like exercise and activity.
Yeah.
Outdoor spaces is pretty key for me. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I have to be outside. Like, I mean, what we're going through now is like, I used to have a gym membership, but now I just feel like nature, being outside. They can't really take that away from you, so you can just go for a walk. Hey, the gym's close. No worries. I just go for a walk, go for a run. So, yeah, it's one of the ways to get away for a bit. Because when I come home, because I think we had a call the other day on one of our huddles at work, and we was talking about what are ways to people like de-stress, and some people will scroll TikTok, and then I think one person said exercise, lift weights, run faster. Like everybody has a different one. Yeah, so it's many ways of just getting away.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something that some people get it straight away. Some people know, like, all right, this is my thing. I do that from teenage age. But for a lot of people, that process of figuring out what your stress release or your self-care thing is that works for you takes time. And it's very unique and very individual to the person.
True. So with Bravely, are you right now? You're I think on your website you said you're going live in November, and so this is like, are you going to the public? Are you going for like businesses, or you're just going straight to trying to get more the consumer? Or
so we've got November lined up. Since the origins we've been B2C. We thought about going after businesses a while back, and that's still something that's on the table. But at its core, we've really been building something for a person, and it doesn't matter whether that person is in a company or a student or whatever. It's something for each person to get better. So we're starting with the person, and then eventually we will expand kind of offerings of starting to work with businesses.
Okay.
But it's something where we're not developing a product for businesses. We're developing a product for people. Yeah. So we are definitely keen to talk to companies.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, since we're coming to the end, I saw on your website that people can get involved with Bravely. How would that go about? I see it's sponsorship, investment. I just want to get it out there so, we have some viewers that want to, see how they can get involved with something like this, a good cause.
Yeah, thanks. So we are at getbravely.com. We have the simplest one is just leave your email and get notified when we launch. There's also a Discord server, which I mentioned earlier, which is a place where we're just basically bringing together people to create a community centered around mental health. Not everywhere is very accepting to mental health, and not everyone is kind of open to listen, but we're working on something that we want everyone to sort of feel safe and supported when they need someone to be there. We do also have those other volunteer options if someone's really interested to be involved and wants to get involved in some capacity. There's a form on the website with join a get involved is the link, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I will leave all that in the show notes so they can get in touch. Yeah, great. So, is there anything that I left out that you want people to know about yourself or the company, the app?
Nothing I think left out, but very very keen to hear from people. We're really focused on building something for the people. So reaching out, joining us on the Discord and helping us to build something that works for you is really useful because, everyone is unique, but we all have ways of coping that are probably shared in some capacity with other people. So we want to hear about how we can help each other get better.
Yeah, definitely. So, one other question I just have. So, you're going worldwide, or you're looking at Southeast Asia or United States or any particular area, or you just going out to the masses?
Question we were discussing today, actually. I think our initial goals at the stage are to target Asia Pacific area.
Okay.
So New Zealand, Australia, and anyone who essentially speaks English at first, because the app is built in English.
Okay.
But we are thinking about doing multi-language versions too, and then assess the worldwide stages as we get a bit bigger.
All right. Well, yeah, look forward to that. I will try to do my part also, because in my background also digital marketing. So yeah, my goal is to try to get this out to so many people, just to, get the awareness, things like that. But yeah, I want to thank you for your time and, your busy schedule to come onto this podcast. And I really look forward to, working with you behind the scenes in any way I can help in promoting this or, getting the word out there to the masses.
Not a problem at all. It's been great chatting to you. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, that's it for the Nichols Mindset Podcast. Okay, yeah.